Chelsea fans. So Chelsea get to take on Palmeiras later on, depending on where you where you are. You could say early in the morning, 2 a.m. Tomorrow, UK and West African time. So keep your eyes peeled for that one. So this is Up Chelsea TV, and I am Ugo Amadi. So straight into what do I think about that game? That's a game that Chelsea should be winning, and in fact, you've got Opta and all the data analytics out there saying, yeah, Chelsea are the favorites to win the tournament. I would say favorites, you're pushing it a bit too far, in my opinion, because you've got PSG right there, you've got Real Madrid there, you've got Dortmund there, that's still in the competition, and Al Hilal are no slouches. You see what they did to Real Madrid, played Real Madrid off the park. Real Madrid were just lucky that that game ended in a draw, and they also went out and absolutely went toe-to-toe with Manchester City, coming up victorious and sending Manchester City back home. So Fluminense are also a very, very good side. The Brazilian teams really have impressed in this tournament. So Fluminense, of course, Thiago Silva there, you cannot overlook Thiago Silva. And then what I'm also not going to do, because a lot of Chelsea fans are doing this, is looking past Palmeiras. Palmeiras are a very decent side, and under their manager, they play a sort of, I would say, a flexible system that responds to how the opposition sets up. So they've got Estêvão William there as well. Like to watch him, see what he's able to do, and they've also got a lot of other decent, very, very decent players. They've got Rios as well, another linchpin in the midfield. So that'll be a nice battle. I'd love to see him battle against Caicedo, but Caicedo is suspended, so he wouldn't be available for the game. So maybe does he come up against Andre Santos? I'm wishing I see that, but who knows? Enzo Maresca may end up, playing Reece James as a 6. Maybe double down and have Reece James and Malo Gusto as the double 6 in that game, which would just be crazy to me, but that wouldn't surprise me. I'll be lying if I said that would be a surprise to me. And so Palmeiras are a good side, but I expect Chelsea to win, but for me it all depends on how Maresca decides to set up, because the way Palmeiras play is they take advantage of the loopholes that you have in your team. So if he decides to tuck in his fullbacks into the midfield, what you have those long balls coming in, into those spots that are left vacant. So because some people think it's just easy, way in the attack, having all the possession, and then having to drop back instantly when that long ball is going over your head, or a quick sharp through pass goes in behind you. People think it's just so easy, you track back and you get the ball. For me, it's more easier said than done. So with regards to a starting lineup, what would I like to see? Who would I like to see start? Because right now I'm giving Maresca the Pochettino treatment. I'm not going to think about who is going to start, because that would mean I'm some sort of soothsayer or someone with a crystal ball. I'll give my lineup, the lineup I would like to see, and then if Enzo Maresca goes on with something different, then he goes on with something different. So lineup I would like to see going into this game would be, of course, Liam Delap starting for me in the 9 position. I know Jackson is back from his suspension, but I want him to start on the bench and let Liam Delap run the Palmeiras defenders ragged, because he'll go more pressure with more controlled aggression, than Nicholas Jackson for sure. And then Jackson can come on in the second half or towards the end of the game. Hopefully Chelsea winning 2-0 up with 5 minutes to go, 10 minutes to go. He can come on and then put that pressure on. And then, of course, for the left wing, I will be going with, I would like to go Pedro Neto, but that just all depends if he will indeed be emotionally and psychologically ready to play. Because, of course, the footballing community, footballing world lost Liverpool forward and Portuguese international player Diogo Jota for some prayers with his family, and obviously he was very close to Pedro Neto. So Pedro Neto has been downcast since. So, like as Maresca said, and rightly so, that he will be given the choice to make if he wants to play or he wants to sit out the game, and whichever decision he makes will be the right decision, and I agree completely. So if he doesn't get to start, then maybe João Pedro can get his first minutes for Chelsea. Yes, he has indeed joined up with the team in the USA, and hopefully he can get, maybe then he gets to start, in that position, because he's Mr. Versatile. Like for me, I've said he's not really going to be a striker, like an out and out striker. Maybe he may be forced to play there, but he's someone who's like a Swiss Army knife at this minute, 10 winger. So you might as well use him, in that left wing. And then on the right wing for me, I'll go Noni Madueke. I know they say Arsenal are interested in his signature. Some Chelsea fans want to see the back of him. For me, I think he's a very, very important player for the team. His ball carrying ability, his skill on the ball, his power on the ball. And, people like to criticize him. But I've asked people there in the comments, you can tell me, what does Bino Gittins do better than Noni Madueke? Or what can Jamie Bino Gittins do that Noni Madueke cannot do? Let me know your opinions in the comments. And then in the 10 for me, I'll play a Palmer there. I know Enzo Maresca have been coming up with this weird sort of thing where he has Palmer as, what I call it, an inverted forward or inverted right winger. For me, that just doesn't really work out, especially when we don't have fullbacks overlapping. For me, that's just craziness, in my opinion. You have fullback, you have a right winger who doesn't have that much pace, and then you don't have fullbacks overlapping to create width. I don't quite understand the merits of that system. But anyways, this is my starting 11. So Cole Palmer starts in that 10 role for me. And then what I want to see, obviously, probably Enzo Maresca is not going to go for this, but in the midfield, I'll go with Esugo and Andre Santos. Or worst case scenario, I'll go with Andre Santos and Enzo Fernandez. Because I said it, like I said earlier on top of the show, he is out suspended. So that opens room for Andre Santos. Maybe Enzo Maresca might come up with one of his fancy statements. From day one, I see him as a right back, so he's not going to start in midfield. Let's see what happens but for me, Andre Santos and maybe Enzo Fernandez starts. So Andre Santos and Dario Esugo should start in that central defensive midfield area. And then for fullbacks, Reece James should start at fullback. Please, fullback. He should be at fullback. And then central defensive pairing for me will be Colwill and Tosin Adarabioyo. I think that's the best central defensive pairing that we have at the minute. So I don't see who else. Chalobah is nowhere as good as Tosin. Let's accept it. I know Chalobah is a Cobham graduate, so everyone wants to fawn and love him. He is nice. He's a good hard worker. But I think Tosin is the better, centre back. And I think Colwill thrives when he has a far experienced centre back playing next to him. He just does. We saw that with Thiago Silva, and we saw this slump when Thiago Silva left the club. So Tosin, Colwill pairing in centre back position, and then for left back, I will go with Cucurella. That'll be my left back, because of course he is one of the best in the world right now. And then goalkeeping position for me, Mike Penders. Yeah, that's what I'll go with. But we all know Robert Sanchez is going to start. So let's see how that shakes out. So this is my starting level. Let me know what you think. For me, score prediction. Not going to score prediction. This is more of a score hope. Yeah, score hope. Hope the match ends 2-0 in favor of Chelsea. So let me know your thoughts and opinions on the starting 11. Thoughts and opinions on the game. How do you think the game will be taken? Some people are calling it the Savallo derby. That's just silly talk in my opinion. Let's see how that shakes, how the game turns out. But let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comment section. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't. This is Up Chelsea TV. Up Chelsea. See you on your next video. Stay well, stay blessed. Bye bye.